Alright, welcome back guys again. So this is going to be a very basic tutorial. So one of the most important things that I've actually found out is that people don't really know where they're going sometimes, especially in the software, in terms of like, oh, sometimes you get through a huddle where you don't really know where to go or how to problem solve. So what I'm going to be showing you is one of the basic things of Davinci Resolve. So I'm going to be showcasing each and every single page as to what the settings are and where they are located. That is something that I feel people need to know where what is, because a lot of the times what happens is we're editing, right? There's a lot of things in the software that gets built into it. A lot of things we don't know where to look. So there's a lot of times we look around different tutorials and see like, oh, in this tutorial we see most of the cut page, in this tutorial we see most of the color page, and that we see most of the media page. I want to give you guys an overall review as to what goes where, and it comes to like the important stuff. All right, especially this video is for the people who are just getting into editing. All right, so who are just getting into editing, who are just getting into Davinci Resolve. If you're an advanced editor, you can still watch it, but you would waste your time, honestly. So this is mostly for the beginners. This is mostly for people who are just getting into editing. All right, so let's dive in. Let's showcase how this works. Firstly, Davinci Resolve is free. Firstly, you don't have to pay a monthly fee like Premiere, or you don't have to pay a one-time fee like Final Cut. It's free. Yes, there's a studio version as well that gives you certain perks, but the free version is pretty good, and you can do most of the things with the free version. So just letting you guys know, because free is good, you know? So anyway, let's go to my screen. All right, number one, we have the logo, basically. So once you click on it, it opens up this splash screen, and then you choose your project. So the way this works is Davinci Resolve doesn't really store files in your Finder or in your File Explorer, right? Like how Premiere has .pr project and stuff. Over here, there is a Davinci Resolve project, but we don't really do that. Everything is stored in a local database. Now, I don't want to get into the full-blown database management. So basically, let me go to the local, because cloud, I want to get into the cloud stuff. So we have, everything is going to be like empty. So you click on Untitled Project. As soon as you click that, this is what you're going to see. So now what is this? The Resolve project is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. So the whole point of Davinci Resolve is that you go from left to right. You start off with the left and you go to the right. That's the whole concept of Davinci Resolve, right? So the start off, this is called the media page. Media page is basically where you manage all your media. So this is the place where this area right here is basically your computer storage. So I'm using a Mac, so it has my Mac storage, all my applications, my documents, my Dropbox, all of that. So basically the point is you take your footage over here, you drag it from there, you drop it over here. This is basically your bin placements. This is where you make where you import your videos. So for example, I make a new bin over here. I call it, let's say, videos, and then I make another bin called, let's say we make another bin called audio, and then we have another bin called VFX. So over here, once you shoot your video, once you record your audio, once you have your VFX assets, this is where you will start dragging and dropping. Or the other way you can always definitely do is you can import media, which is the same command I. And once you import media, basically it opens your Finder window, and then you just go ahead with that. All right, so this is where you see your stuff. Now, media page. Moving on, this is the cut page. Now, the cut page is something that I personally don't use a lot. It is something which is you can use for your early sifting. Sifting means sorting your media, because let's say you shot a film, right? And you want to like take all that footage into a particular timeline. This cut page helps you to do that. I use it with my Resolve keyboard. That sometimes it becomes useful a little bit, but I personally don't use it. Let me open another timeline to actually showcase how this actually works. Now, before I dive into the pages, you'll be able to see that we have the home, which is the project manager, and your settings. So once you click home, you have access to your other projects as well. This is how you switch projects, all right? So you click on home and you click on other things and you can double click to open them up, all right? That's number one. Settings is basically your main settings. So over here, my timeline resolution is 1920 by 1080. So this is where you set your resolutions, your frame rate and stuff like that for your timeline. Your monitoring always should be 1080p, 24 frames per second, because it just does not give a lag. Proxy media, we're not going to get into proxy in this video. Image scaling, sometimes basically what you want to do is sometimes you shoot in 4K and you want to edit in 1080p. So that setting this is where you do that. Color management is basically the color of your whole project. Do you want it to be Davinci YRGB? Is it Rec 709? Are you doing HDR content? But mostly, since this is a beginner video, most of this thing will be the same. We don't really get into this. And these are a little bit advanced, so I'm not going to get into that. But this is where your master settings, this is where you set your timeline. If you want to use a vertical resolution, you can just click that. It becomes vertical. So that's something that you can do. And image scaling is something you can just like use this portion and use this portion if you want. So now let me just open another project quickly so that I can show you guys how the... All right. So if you see, this is the cut page. So I just opened the sample project and I just want to show you how the cut page works. So let's say I delete all of this. Let me just delete all of this. All right. So basically now you shot your short film, you have all your videos over here, right? So the difference between the cut page and the edit page is the cut page has a magnetic timeline. So in this particular portion, it gives you like the entirety of the entire timeline. And this portion is like the zoomed in view. So it gives you both views together. So for example, I have this one. I will drag it here. So if you see like over here, you can drag the timeline like around. You can scrub it over here. Let's say I use this. Then I have this. So I see the source. I've scrubbed through it. I put in point. I put out point. I put an in point here. I put an out point there. And then I just drag this over here. So you see like it's getting that cut over here. Now let's say I want this one. I double click over here. I want this in point and then I choose like out point and then I just drag it over here. So this is how you're creating your cuts. So you see the overview over here and then you see like the zoomed in view over here. So that's what you do. Then once you're finished the first round, then you go to your edit page. This is something which is similar to most NLEs. So over here you can chop it off even more. I'm not getting into like the shortcuts. I'm just giving you an example. You can cut your image over here. You can like, maybe you can do like a ripple delete here, and then you can trim stuff out. You can change it over there. You can drag your images here. So this is basically how you take care of the edit page. All right. Now, if you see on the top, we have options. So this is the media pool. So the media pool, this area is nothing but this area, which is the media pool in the media page, right? This is where you've imported all your images and videos. This is where it is. The effects panel is where your transitions like cross dissolve, you can just drag and drop over here. So you have cross dissolve here. This is where your transitions, your audio transitions, some of the effects that you have, some CCTV effects, colored borders, you have the digital glitch effect, you have different types of preloaded effects that Davinci Resolve gives to you. Then this is the index. So this is the edit index is usually a little bit advanced. This is where you use your markers, your tracks, and your edit index as to how much you're editing. All that data is over here. So in case you want to export it as an EDL for another editor, you can use that as well. Sound library, I've never used this personally. It like connects to like their free sound library. I personally don't use this, so I'm not going to get into this. Then we have the quick export. So let's say you click this clip, you have a quick export. You can just do a quick H264. You can do a quick render for testing stuff, but we're going to get into the render a little bit later. Then we have the mixer, which is your audio levels. So over here you see the audio levels of this track, which is audio 1. You see the mixer for that and its levels. You can hide it. You can click and hide it over here. So the one thing that I want to definitely go about is, usually if you come from Premiere or someplace else, you can see like you can drag around windows, right? Over here everything is fixed. It is predetermined. You don't have that much customization as to where you want to go. So for example, like the media pool is very small. I want to increase it. You can increase it just like that. So it gives you this entire real estate and it shortens the timeline. So that's one way of customizing the way you want to work. Next, we have the metadata. Metadata is something, so you see this is a full-blown window. I want to just reduce it to that. So over here, every single clip that you see will have its metadata over here, like start time code, your end frame, your bit depth, everything over here. Then you have the inspector. The inspector is each clip of their particular things. For example, I have the audio chosen over here. So let me just increase this a little bit. So if you see the volume, I can decrease the levels over here. So that's how you do it. And there's an undo button, which is very, very useful. We add it right there. Now, then we have the video clips. So you can see this is the typical zoom in, zoom out. So I'm just gonna go here. Your positions, your rotation angle. Again, keep in mind that everything is keyframeable. So you can keyframe here, you can do with that. So then you have your keyframes over there. Then you have the cropping, basically your crop left. So I didn't select the clip. You have your crop left, crop right. So that's basically what you have for all your crops. You can add like a crop top. You can do like a soften. So you have those simple sliders that usually help. I'm not getting no dynamic zoom at the moment. Composite mode is, let's say you have like two clips side by side. You can do like one as color, but now both of them are the same clip, so it doesn't really make a difference. So this is your basic composite mode layer wise. This is your speed change for your speed ramping, your reverse, and your freeze frame. This is in case you want to do slow-mo. This is where you adjust the speed. Then you have stabilization, which is, let me just increase this. Then you have your stabilization. So stabilization is basically kind of like the warp stabilizer for After Effects, and I think it's there in Premiere as well. I don't remember that, but this is basically very powerful because it takes up less time. It doesn't take up that much effort. So if I have this one, for example, let me just quickly do a warp stabilize this. It's that fast. So it doesn't take that long, as in like stabilizing that bar in After Effects. Whew, nightmares, literally nightmares. So this is something that is pretty fast usually. Then we have lens correction, so you can analyze it. And done. That's pretty much. So the whole concept is that Davinci Resolve uses a lot of AI in their neural engine that actually speeds up their process very, very fast. So now if you see like retime and scaling, so like if I see over here, if I click on the metadata, I get that this is a ultra HD clip, right? So now if I want, I can take the scale, I can crop it. So it gives you, so I know like this is in the 1080 timeline, this is the thing that is there. So I can go up, I can zoom out as well if I want to. So that's how useful this retime and scaling is. So I can just do it like that. All right, so that is basically the basics of the edit page. Moving on to the Fusion. This is basically like a node-based compositing software where you add different types of nodes over here. I come from Nuke, so I'm not really proficient on the shortcuts over here, but they basically, I think it's tab. No, that's Nuke. So it's basically like a node-based software where you can do a lot of compositing. So we have your color corrector nodes, you have your background nodes. So you have all these different nodes that you can actually go ahead. So once you're done with the VFX, then you move to the color. So the color page is something where you have your clips over here. So this is basically your clip. So I have 3 clips. So if you see 1, 2, 3. So if I do another cut, it'll be 4 clips over here. So you can see 4. And then you can choose your timeline, which is again the zoomed out view of the timeline. This is your waveforms, and you can choose your different types of waveforms that you want here. Over here is where your primaries are. This is your HDR, where you can go here. This is your RGB mixer. This is your motion effects, which is for denoise. These are your curves, your hue versus sat, your hue versus luminance, all of that. This is the spiderweb. This is a new resolve thing that is there. You can use for color correction, a little more minute. This is where your keyer is for keying out color. These are your windows for tracking and masking. This is your tracker for your windows. This is your magic mask, which I don't want to get into today. This is your blur and sharpen, so you can just blur and sharpen through that. These are your key inputs, or how much you're keying. It will get shown here. This is your input sizing, and this is your 3D, in case you have 3D over here, which I don't. And you can see, like, you can have these different options over here. You have your log wheels, which is like shadow, midtone, and highlights, and this is your main one. And you can click over here. You can put it out over there, which gives you like a bigger view. And when we have your effects for each node, for example, if you're doing a color space transform, you can do it through there. You can do like a grid. Let's say I want to see the color palette of this. It immediately shows me the color palette. So number of colors, I want to show more. Shadow threshold, I show less. So I can do whatever I want. So I need to charge that light, that hairline light. That's unfortunately going away. So again, that's something that I can do. Then let's say we have the light box, which is basically all your clips. You can zoom in and zoom out over there. So that's your light box. That is basically what the color page is. Then you have the Fairlight page. Fairlight page is basically like Logic Pro, where you have all your mixers, you have your EQ effects, you have your effects where you can add like let's say you add a multiband compressor. This is where you can add your compressors. You can add like a couple of balancing stuff. You can add your attack ratio, your threshold ratio, all of that kind of stuff you can do. And you have your deliver page, which is basically how you finally export. You have these beautiful presets, are amazing. You choose your location, you choose your video, your frame rate, you choose your audio. Boom. Let's say you choose linear PCM, add to render queue. You choose the way you want to do it. You hit save. It comes up and you render it out. And that's pretty much a walkthrough as to how Resolve works. So this is a quick walkthrough about the interface as to where things are. So thank you so much for powering through this interface. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Again, it's wonderful talking and explaining this. I truly enjoy this, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon, guys. Another day with more tutorials. Next time I'm going to be doing a little bit on VFX, so I'm excited. I hope you are too. See you guys soon. Peace out. I need to charge this light.